Powered by UpSnap.
Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face. Now I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Ideas are bulletproof, and it is time we did come together as a team, because tyranny is not on a slow march anymore. They have kicked it into high gear, and with every passing day, our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, our very freedom itself is being taken away. This is not fear-mongering. This is just the facts of what's going on. You have Congress, Mitch McConnell, promoting an idea that we should just give the power of the purse strings over to Obama. Of course, it's under the guise of, well, we'll let him fall flat in his face. Right. They think you're that stupid that Obama probably won't get voted back in. And the chances of a Republican getting in, depending on how this election goes and how they fake the elections, they want that power. They don't want to have to go to Congress. The people pulling the strings that have everybody thinking that there's a left-right paradigm arguing amongst each other want you to believe that they're trying to just make Obama fall flat on his face. You should look at it on a deeper, esoteric level. Why would they do that? McConnell's a scumbag. He's a traitor. You have Obama saying that Congress doesn't take care of business with the debt. He can't guarantee that people on Social Security, the military, and veterans are going to get their money. He guaranteed that Israel gets their money. I guarantee you that Congress gets their money. I guarantee you he gets his paycheck. And I guarantee you all his little jackboot thugs get their paychecks. Halliburton and all the rest of those scumbag companies, Monsanto and all these other evil bastards that are working with the New World Order agenda. Bet you they all get their money. We certainly got enough money to give Greece a bailout. We just bailed out Greece. We don't have the money to pay veterans who had limbs blown off for lies. We don't got the money to pay them. We ain't got the money to pay Social Security, all the old people. But we certainly got money to finance all these wars, don't we? We certainly got money to give it to the people of Greece to drop bombs on Libya for another year. But screw the very people of this country, right? No. You're lying. The president's a liar. He's a liar. They want that money for themselves. Kucinich just talked about it the other day on the floor of Congress. You don't think that the president's threatening? I mean, listen, this is what he says. Right to a news reporter yesterday. Listen to this. I don't know if you guys, the program might not be working with Skype. Some people are telling me they don't hear anything. Basically, Obama just said flat out that, he can't promise anything at all. He can't promise that these seniors are going to get their checks. He can't promise that veterans are going to get their checks. It's ridiculous. How are you going to lie to the American people and threaten them like that? And then how are the people, let's see how the people react to this. Are we just going to roll over and take it? Or are we going to sit here and say, okay, you can rape us and lie to us about it right to our faces and we'll just continually accept it? We saw how they lied about the banker bailout. He's lying to everybody. He's threatening you. He's holding you hostage. He's saying, if you don't give us your money, we're going to rape you for everything. We're going to take you for everything you've got. We're going to destroy you. It's the same threats. The end of the world is going to happen if we don't raise the debt ceiling. So if we can't get further into debt. See, there's a wall right now stopping them from further enslaving us economically. And they want to bash down that wall. And they want us to go right ahead, man. Bash that wall down. That doesn't mean anything. We're scared. We need you to save us. Please save us. How about how about this? Here's how we solve the debt crisis. Tell the Federal Reserve to go screw. Tell the neocons and the New World Order and the neoliberals like Obama and Pelosi and the rest of them to go screw. Fire and round them all up for treason and hold trials and let the hangings begin. And start printing money backed by gold and silver, as the Constitution states, and give the power back to the federal government instead of having this outside agency, foreign bank, run by evil people controlling the purse strings and the issuance of currency. Let's just get rid of them. We don't owe them any money. You know how you get rid of the national debt? Screw. That's how you get rid of the national debt. You look at the Federal Reserve and you say, screw. And you give them the middle finger and you tell them to sit and spin. Well, we'll come take the money. With what? How are you going to pay your people if we print our own money backed by gold and silver and you have the power to do nothing? Okay? We need to arrest these people. And obviously, you could have a trial if you want, but the outcome's still going to be the same. They need to be hung for treason, okay? Abolish the Federal Reserve and confiscate everything the Federal Reserve has, everything, all of their assets. Now, it's a private bank, so you're going to have all these private families having assets all over the world. Too bad. Confiscate everything, pull it all back, take everything, liquidate all their assets, and pay that money back to the people. Because we don't owe them anything, so we wouldn't have to pay anything. Just liquidate everything. Stop being afraid of the Federal Reserve. Stop being afraid of the Federal Reserve coming to bite you and get you, and the IRS. It's time we stand up and start putting these people in jail. We start rounding these scumbags up, it'll stop. If we don't, it's going to get worse. We need to start standing up. Time to get our balls back, people. Let's get our balls out of our wives' purse and put them back on and do something. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Today's Wednesday, July 13th, 2011. This is Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Popeye, from federaljack.com. Check my website out. During the break, I was reading an article that I had posted earlier, but I wanted to go back and read through it to get the details for you guys as much as I could. And the title is Woman Arrested for Not Letting TSA Molest Her Daughter. This woman in Nashville, in the airport, was arrested because she refused to let the TSA agents grope her daughter, and she said, "You will not touch my daughter's crotch," and that's in quotes. And in fact, it's she did not want her daughter to be touched, quote, touched inappropriately or have her crotch grabbed, and she was arrested because she made a quote unquote fuss about it. So she stands up and says, "You are not going to molest my daughter," and they take this woman to jail. The police involved, you should all be ashamed of yourselves. I hope you guys hear this broadcast. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm an oath keeper. You guys should go look up what oath keepers are. You should be ashamed of yourselves, okay? In fact, there's a model of how cops should hold themselves on my site. If you go to Federal Jack, there's an article about how cops should actually conduct themselves and how police should handle themselves. And it's about the town over, it's called Quartzsite over in Arizona. And the police got together, and the Quartzsite Arizona Police Officers Association got together, and they actually put out a letter. And it's an outstanding representation of what an oath keeper should be and how a police officer should behave themselves. So everybody in the rest of the nation, all you cops that walk around with your badges so proudly, you should all pay attention to the Quartzsite police officers, not their scumbag police chief, Jeff Gilbert, who thinks he's God. The guy should be arrested for treason, and he should be tried and put in jail for life for the things that he's done, along with the scumbag city council out there. And since I'm not in your city, I don't have to fear any repercussions from you. So I have a First Amendment right. This is America. So Chief Jeff Gilbert, you're a criminal and a traitor, and you should be locked up, and so should the rest of the city council of Quartzsite, Arizona, for arresting your civilians for speaking at a city council meeting. What are you guys taking lessons from Myron Rosner, the former mayor of North Miami Beach, who called the FBI on me for speaking at city council meetings? You people are out of control. Chief Jeff Gilbert apparently is referred to as the Christ and, Messiah-like by the local establishment media. The only woman, Jennifer Jones, who has the balls to start her own alternative media about what's going on out there, she's the one that gets arrested and harassed and everything else. And now they declare martial law because, InfoWars had an article about it, and the Intel Hub had an article about it, and We Are Change had an article about it. I reposted Alex Thomas's article from the Intel Hub, which was the first article out there about this whole thing. And it went viral, and and then people were calling up Alex Jones's show because she went on Alex Jones's show, and people were emailing from all over saying, "Hey, you guys are corrupt. You guys should be locked up," and they felt threatened. They felt threatened because they got emails. "Oh God, Lordy Lord, we got emails. We got to have martial law." I mean, that's the way these morons think. They're cowards. The rats are backed into a corner, and they're acting like it. And then you have this Nazi-like police chief and officers that work for him I think it's something like 85 or 90% of the officers in the police department have told him that they're not going to follow unconstitutional orders, and that's where this letter is. It's I have it posted from Scribd. You can download it and keep it. It's on federaljack.com. It's under Coral Site, Arizona Police Officers Association letter regarding Police Chief Jeff Gilbert, and I'll throw it into the chat room for everybody in the chat in case they want to see it. But it's just unbelievable that we're allowing this to happen. We're allowing this to happen in our country. How are people not pissed off about this? They're making, Kennedy said, you know, and this is paraphrasing because I don't quite remember it word for word, but basically if you make, peaceful revolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. And that's what they're doing because they already have the camp set up. They want people to start acting up and getting pissed off and to riot. You know, this is like a big version of kettling. They're letting everybody sit and stew and hang out, and they're going to start to let people burn cars here and there, and then they're going to come in and kettle everybody. And that's when they're going to start rounding people up. You're going to start to see, protests, and you'll see the real police kettling where they do come in and, they literally kettle people into a corner. They box them in, and then you have the black bloc agent provocateurs running around, causing problems, doing nefarious deeds, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Okay? They're doing this on purpose, people. We need to stand up now while we can. Obama's trying to write executive orders. Well, you know what? The Congress won't tackle the Second Amendment. I'll just do it by executive order. You can't. Well, I'm the president. It doesn't matter if you're the president. The president is nothing more than the friggin' store manager. That's all he is. He's just the store manager. His job is realistically, as it was created by the founders, the president was only supposed to, make sure everything ran smoothly in government, and he's in charge of the military. He keeps an eye on them, and he can, he can call them up with Congress's approval and send them to war. Okay? That's the way it's supposed to work. We don't have that anymore. Apparently, we don't need Congress. You don't need the Supreme Court. It's whatever the person in the presidency says. And it's not about Obama. People don't get lost in this and think, well, it's about Obama because, when Bush or, don't think that the opposite. No, don't get lost in that crap. It's not about Bush. It's not about Obama. It wasn't about Clinton. It wasn't about Bush Sr. It's about the office of the presidency. It's about making that vehicle, that tool, and turning it into an empirical police state. Like it's like watching the last three Star Wars movies when they're all sitting there in the Senate and she says, what's her name? Luke's mom, when she was younger, she says, so this is how, I think she says, this is how democracy dies, with a thunderous applause or something to that effect. Well, that's what's happening, except we don't have a democracy. It's a republic, a free republic. This was set up to keep us free from these BS laws and the BS, court system that's controlled by admiralty law and the Queen herself, Miss Lizard Lips. Okay. Why are we beholden to all this? Why are we allowing this to happen? You know why we're having so many earthquakes all over the planet? I'll tell you why. Because the founding fathers are doing 360s in their graves right now. That's why we're having earthquakes. You shouldn't worry about the New Madrid fault line collapse. You actually, if this keeps up, you should, because they're rolling over in their graves. It's going to get faster and faster and faster, and that'll cause the New Madrid fault line to crack. Okay, people, seriously. For real. The founding fathers would be up in arms if they were alive about this. Are you kidding me? Jefferson would be looking at everybody going, really? This is what you're doing with what we gave you. We gave you a gift that nobody else in the history of this world was ever given, and you people are just handing it away because you're too fat and lazy and dependent and scared. Or you just don't care about anything and you're out for your own self. And I have no respect for people like that either. I'm not saying that we have to become a communist state or anything like that, but I have no respect for people that don't think about others. We are one race, the human race. Maybe if we all started acting like that, we could progress and do other things like, check out outer space, the rest of the ocean, which we haven't even barely checked out. We're going to break. We're going to break. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Go check out OrionTalkRadio.com. The network's new site. Check it out.
It's stranger than fiction, but they don't even show the truth when soldiers are missing. I'm only trying to show.
Welcome back, guys. Man, the news is crazy. We are certainly, and we're not even headed, we're there. We're in a totalitarian police state. This isn't the USA, this is now the USSA. The cops should just walk around with the Nazi armbands on. It would be more appropriate. Our military is spread to the far corners of the planet. I'm telling you what, they're going to use this bombing in India, in Mumbai, as an excuse. I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet anybody $20 that they try to tie it to the Pakistani ISI and try to use it as a reason to attack Pakistan. Because they're going to see what they're doing is they know, the New World Order knows that they just can't directly, this is my viewpoint on it, they can't just directly attack Pakistan. So they're going to heat up and piss off the Indian people to get the Indian military willing to work with them against Pakistan. They are setting up World War III, folks. They are setting up World War III, without a doubt. Yeah, somebody in the chat room just said that will provoke China. It's exactly the goal. And remember, China owns a lot of the crap inside the United States. They own so much of our debt. The New World Order has to know what they're doing. Of course they know what they're doing. They're playing everybody against each other. It's insane. And nobody's, well, I mean, a lot of people, I should say nobody, a lot of people are awake. But even the people that are awake don't understand the full magnitude of it. They get lost up in some of the higher ranks of the drama. Oh, this person said this, or no. Look, take a step back. Look what they're doing. I don't care if the Pakistani ISI was connected with helping out Muhammad Atta. When you actually research that stuff and you actually research the ISI's involvement, you find out that they were directed via a CIA station chief. So who controls the ISI? The CIA. Anybody that knows anything understands that. They know the ISI was created by the CIA. I've had people try to tell me that that's not true, they just don't know anything then, because go research it. The ISI was created by the CIA. You don't think the CIA is still going to have, you think they're going to let them just go? You don't think they're going to have control over them? Do parents ever really let their children go? Do parents ever not try to find out, does a nosy parent, a good parent, the old school nosy parents, they had problems letting their children go. They would annoy their kids to find out what was going on. Well, that's kind of like the CIA, except on a more hardcore level. They'll never let the ISI just go on their own. Get real. I have a feeling they're going to use these bombings, and I'm doing air quotes. I'm willing to bet that this was fomented. When you say the CIA, you have to understand that you have, yes, the CIA, you have defense intelligence, but the CIA has their fingers in everything. They have their fingers in the NSA, the State Department, the FBI, Defense Intelligence, the DEA, everything. Border Patrol. Fletcher Prouty wrote about it. 2 great books he wrote, JFK and The Secret Team. Go get them, and I suggest you read The Secret Team first. It'll help you understand how things work. It'll help you understand about how they get people into the State Department and stuff like that. Look, you don't have to have somebody, the whole CIA being bad. You only got to have 1 or 2 people in high up positions of power that make things happen. Because everybody, they follow orders. It's compartmentalized. It's the way it's done. So no, not everybody at the CIA is bad. Just there's certain people in certain levels that are evil, and they're steering everything. They control. Defense intelligence is controlled by the CIA just as much as all the, or I should say not controlled, but, well, somewhat controlled, but infiltrated is a better word. Prouty wrote all about it. Go read The Secret Team, and, you can learn a lot from what the man wrote. Glenn Senek actually has all his videos, interviews with Prouty. I'm going to try to get in touch with him because I'm working on something special with the JFK assassination, but the man was incredible. It's a shame he's not around now because I would love to sit and talk to Colonel Prouty and ask him what he thinks about 9/11. I guarantee you he'd be all over it, and he would be a leading voice in the 9/11 truth movement if he were still alive. So it's a shame he's not around, but I'm digressing. Anyway, that's somebody had mentioned in one of my video uploads on YouTube, they had said, Popeye's mistaken. He always says CIA, CIA. It's, he forgets that defense intelligence has a lot to do with everything. I understand. But the thing is, the people that are working through, quote unquote, defense intelligence are actually CIA operatives that are implanted in there. And even the people that work with them in defense intelligence don't know that they're CIA. Again, if you read Fletcher Prouty's book, The Secret Team, you'll understand. During the break, I'll try to find it on Google. In fact, I'll try to find it while I'm talking to you now, and I'll try to find a link for it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'll put it in the chat room at least so they can see. It's just an incredible book. I mean, Prouty was an incredible man. If you've ever seen the movie JFK with Oliver Stone's JFK, the scene where Kevin Costner talks to, what's his name? The Jack Bauer's dad. Oh, I can't remember his name. Donald Sutherland. And he talks to Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland plays this Mixter X character. Well, he tells him about, he was in, I think, New Zealand at the time, or Antarctica, wherever the hell he was. And he's explaining the whole timeline. That was actually Fletcher Prouty's real timeline of what really happened. That really happened. When he says to Kevin Costner's character, who was really Jim Garrison, when he says to him, I was sent, at the last minute, out of the country, blah, 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 blah. And then I started to think, was it because I was this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that all really happened. That's this guy, Fletcher Prouty. He was the first chief of special operations underneath John F. Kennedy. And he actually wrote up the national security memos and the presidential, all these orders, like where the executive order where Kennedy shredded the CIA and all that stuff. Prouty's the one that wrote all that stuff up. He's the one that knew about it because he was the one that actually physically put it to paper. He knew that this is what the president wanted, and this is what he was going to do. He knew it. I mean, it's incredible the amount of knowledge this man has. There was an interview with him. You can find it on YouTube where he talks about peak oil. It was created at a meeting back in the 70s that he attended and Henry Kissinger was at, and Henry Kissinger was one of the people that fomented the whole peak oil thing. And they said flat out that, if pretty much they could rate people for more money and they would have more control if they could, push this myth of peak oil. Oh, my God, if you use too much fuel, blah, 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 just like the whole global warming myth. So all this stuff was... they come up in these high, powerful people. I guess they come from these people that I should say are not high and powerful, but they're in high-ranking, powerful positions. And here was Prouty, an insider who was privy to all of this stuff. When you read the guy's background, it's just incredible. His background. He is just an incredible, incredible person. But here he is telling you, hey, this is what's going on. I just put in the chat room Prouty's website. I'm not sure if the book is still for sale. I know that if you go to Amazon and you look it up, you can get it. It's Ventura actually convinced the publishing team that published his books, the company, to publish. It's called Skyhorse Publishing. He convinced them to republish Prouty's books. The original, there's like an original one going for a couple $100 on Amazon, but you should be able to get it for like $15. Just go to, if you're not sure, go to skyhorsepublishing.com. That's the name of the place, Skyhorse Publishing. Again, his name is L. Fletcher Prouty. The last name is Prouty. I didn't spell it phonetically just because I know some people don't understand phonetic spelling, so I have to sometimes curb my military training when it comes to that. Again, the name of the book is called The Secret Team. It's a couple hundred pages. It's about almost like 600 pages. I suggest you read the book, and if you're not sure, carry an encyclopedia or a little dictionary with you so you can look stuff up. But I suggest you read the book, get a highlighter and a pad, and take notes, because you'll glean so much information from this book, you can use it to explain to others how things work. We're going to break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
To be free till you die a slave, a soldier in the desert searching for a ghost in the cave. For the corporation, I run out of patience, sick of seeing troops sent to die for your lives, spending dollars in debt. We holler in protest till we have your arrest. We will not rest, and we know what you did that day. Kill your own citizens to advance your ways. All my real patriots stand up and say
9/11 was totally an inside job. And if you think otherwise after viewing all the evidence, or you change your mind like certain individuals, then you're either stupid, paid for, or you were a plant all along. Welcome back to the show, guys. I noticed Kennedy is a big topic of conversation in the chat room during the break. As planned, I will be having I will be doing a 4-hour Kennedy special coming up. I was going to do it this coming Sunday, but I cannot. I have to reschedule because I have something very special coming up, which I won't tell you guys about right now because I can't, for the security and safety of the person I will be interviewing. Hopefully, I will be doing the interview at in the afternoon on Sunday. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it once I'm done with the interview. I'll be able to get it cut up into pieces and put up on the radio for you guys. And I'm just going to broadcast the interview. It's very special. It's with someone, again, it's very connected, heavily connected to the whole story of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. But for the person's safety, I won't say their name. All I'll say is if you know anything about the story about John F. Kennedy and the series The Men Who Killed Kennedy, it's somebody from one of the last 3 episodes that was buried. And on Friday, I'll be able to talk about it a little more. The only reason I have to do this is because she asked me to take certain security precautions for her. She has to live on the run and on the lam pretty much, and it's ridiculous to get in touch, how I have to go about getting in touch with her. So out of respect for her and out of respect for her safety, I do what she asks me to do. But hopefully everything will go straight, and you guys will have an interview of a lifetime that you get to listen to. So if you're wondering, you can go just check out The Men Who Killed Kennedy. You'll find it on federaljack.com. Go to my Truth Movie section under JFK. Go watch The Love Affair, and you'll understand already what's up, and you'll be able to check it out. But, again, out of respect, I won't say any more. Anyway, JFK is a very interesting topic. And if people want to do some more research on it, I suggest you go watch the final 3 episodes. In fact, I'll throw them into the chat. I'll find them and I'll throw them into the chat for the listeners. I suggest you go check out the last 3 episodes of The Men Who Killed Kennedy. The actual Men Who Killed Kennedy series was a 9-part series, and the last 3 parts got memory hold by Lady Bird Johnson. When she was still alive, she contacted, when they came out, I guess somebody obviously had alerted them, and they got a hold of the Clinton family, and between Lady Bird, Bill Clinton, Lady Bird Johnson, and George W. Bush Jr., the last 3 episodes of The Men Who Killed Kennedy were a memory hold. Now, if you go to Netflix and if you go to the History Channel itself, you will notice that when you click on any information about The Men Who Killed Kennedy, you will notice that it only says that there were 6 parts. It doesn't say that there were 9 parts, which there were 9 parts. The part 7 was called The Smoking Guns, and it showed proof positive interviews with people about people that were involved with one guy worked for Ford, and he had seen the limousine windshield, and he had said to his guys, "Who is that?" Oh, there you go. Ashley posted him for me. Thank you, Ashley. I don't have to go about and do it. He said that the Secret Service had made and the FBI had made them take the windshield out and smash it. They had made them lock the door so nobody could see, and that's because there was a bullet hole in the front windshield that was going from outside the front of the windshield through into Kennedy's throat, and that alone would destroy the whole Lee Harvey Oswald shot from behind, because the bullet hole wasn't from the passenger side of the windshield out; it was from the outside of the windshield in. So they knew they couldn't account for that with Arlen Specter's whole magic bullet theory that was going to come about, and the one lone gunman theory, which is Specter's magic bullet theory and everything else evolved after that, because they had to keep this crazy lone gunman. Everything, there was too much. I mean, anybody that sat back, anybody that's ever shot a gun that was in the military or hunted, you could tell that Kennedy was not killed by somebody in the book depository. You'll know that there had to, at the very minimum, be at least 3 separate shooters. Now, what was Oswald's role? Again, if you watch The Love Affair, you'll see he was working with this doctor, these 2 doctors, and David Ferry, who came up in Jim Garrison's investigation, and then during the whole trial of Clay Shaw, David Ferry was suicided, but he worked with these 2 other doctors and Oswald, and they were working on a weaponized form of cancer to kill Castro. Now, interesting that Jack Ruby died of cancer. He was spouting off about what was going on. You can see the videos on YouTube. Ruby says the people that put me in this position are in power, and they'll never let the truth come out. A whole new form of government has taken over this country. This is back in the 60s, and then a couple of years later, he dies of cancer. Bob Marley, you look into it, there's enough evidence to prove that the CIA did use this weaponized form of cancer to kill him. Okay? And Bill Hicks, he dies of cancer. Aaron Russo, he dies of cancer. Now, again, I don't have any hard evidence other than it's a speculative theory based on the evidence that I know does exist. They had a poison dart gun, for Christ's sake. They called the heart attack gun. Go look it up. Even Ray Nagin, Mark Dice did a video about this. Apparently in Ray Nagin's book, he just came out in his memoirs, he was worried that the CIA was going to whack him with the heart attack gun after Katrina hit because of the things he was saying about the Bush administration. This is the mayor of New Orleans coming out and saying he was worried the CIA was going to whack him with a heart attack gun. Anybody still think this is a game and that this is, quote-unquote, conspiracy theory? I mean, it is a conspiracy. It's a theory that a bunch of people, a rogue element, are conspiring to do bad things. So I guess it is by definition, a conspiracy theory. You just got to get rid of that negative connotation to it and understand that, yes, there are conspiracies. If two guys got together and conspired to rob a bank, guess what they would get charged with? Conspiracy. When they arrest, quote-unquote, rioters, what do they arrest them for? What do they say all the time? Conspiracy to commit riot, conspiracy to cause this, conspiracy to do that. So it's good enough to charge you with in a court of law, but out of the same, out the other side of their mouth, they're going to sit there and say to you, oh, you're crazy if you believe in conspiracies. The definition of a conspiracy is 2 or more people getting together, conspiring to do something bad. 2 or more people. So by definition, the official government theory of 9/11 is a conspiracy theory. That's why they had to destroy and silence any opposing evidence with JFK's assassination, because more than Oswald, and by definition, it is now a conspiracy, and they couldn't have that. Even though the Senate later on in the 70s, they had one of their little subcommittees on assassinations. And, I mean, of course, there was a lot of info that was blocked by them, too, especially when you talk to people that were interviewed back then. But they'll tell you, at least they admitted to a certain extent that, yes, there was more than enough evidence to prove that there was there was a conspiracy to kill John F. Kennedy, there was a conspiracy to kill Bobby Kennedy, and there was a conspiracy to kill Martin Luther King Jr. Now, it's come out since that, yes, there has been a filmmaker who I've been trying to get on. He's a tough guy to get a hold of. I can't remember his last name. His first name's Shane. There's a movie called RFK Must Die. Try to find it on Netflix. Try to find it anywhere and watch it. RFK Must Die. Very good film. He proves without a shadow of a doubt that Frank Morales, who was a high-ranking CIA guy who happened to have his hands all over involved in the JFK assassination, also happens to be on, at the scene the day that Bobby Kennedy got killed, and he bragged that they got the big one, and then they got the little one, and they're talking about Jack and Bobby. James Earl Ray was actually found not guilty of killing Martin Luther King Jr. in a civil trial that happened a few years back. You can look it up. The family of Martin Luther King Jr. put it on the internet. Go look it up. You will see that the family of Martin Luther King Jr.'s family actually went to the funeral of James Earl Ray. His sons and his wife have all come out. His son and his wife. I think she passed away finally, but before she passed away, his wife had come out publicly and said that they don't think that James Earl Ray did it, and that they showed the evidence that the civil trial proved that it was the FBI, the Army, and the CIA conspired to kill Martin Luther King Jr. And look where they shot him. They shot him in his jaw. That's symbolic of don't shoot your mouth off, black man. Shut your mouth. That's what that is. All right, guys. We're out of time. I'll be back Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you then.
Will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Ideas are bulletproof, and it is time we did come together as a team, because tyranny is not on a slow march anymore. They have kicked it into high gear, and with every passing day, our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, our very freedom itself is being taken away.
Powered by UpSnap.
Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen, believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw fingernails for that inch. Because we...
This is not fear-mongering. This is just the facts of what's going on. You have Congress, Mitch McConnell, promoting an idea that we should just give the power of the purse strings over to Obama. Of course, it's under the guise of, well, we'll let him fall flat in his face. Right. They think you're that stupid that Obama probably won't get voted back in. And the chances of a Republican getting in, depending on how this election goes and how they fake the elections, they want that power. They don't want to have to go to Congress. The people pulling the strings that have everybody thinking that there's a left-right paradigm arguing amongst each other want you to believe that they're trying to just make...
No! When we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see